This is Martin Kampmann. You're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
Do you believe Carlos Condit Martin Kampmann is going down? In just a few days' time on Wednesday night, Condit, Kampmann, the rematch, April 1st, 2009 was their last matchup. It was Carlos Condit's first fight in the UFC, and Martin Kampmann wound up winning by split decision. Condit and Kampmann both coming off losses to Johnny Hendricks, as Condit fought him March 16th here in Montreal and lost by decision, while Kampmann fought him November here in Montreal and lost by knockout. Condit has 13 of his 28 wins by knockout with 13 submissions and 2 decisions. You got to like that, right? 28 wins and 26 of them are finishes. Carlos Condit is a finisher. He has lost 7 times, though, 4 by decision, 3 by submission. Condit never been knocked out. Condit was beat by Jake Shields in 2006, Martin Kampmann in 2009, and George St. Pierre in 2012 before Johnny Hendricks here in 2013. He was submitted back in 2004 by Carlo Prater, Satoru Kitaoka in 2005, and Pat Healy in 2006. So Condit has actually not been finished since 2006, whereas Kampmann was finished in 2012, knocked out, in fact, by Johnny Hendricks. Kampmann's been knocked out 4 times for 6 total losses. Andrei Semenov in 2004 knocked him out, Nate Marquardt in 2008, Paul Daly in 2009. He's lost twice by decision, Jake Shields in 2010 and Diego Sanchez in 2011. Kampmann was on a 3-fight win streak before getting knocked out by Johnny Hendricks. He's 11-5 in the UFC, while Carlos Condit is 5-3 in the UFC. He went 5-0 in the WEC before that, becoming the welterweight champion over there. And after losing to Martin Kampmann, went on a 5-fight win streak before getting a title shot against GSP, losing that in an amazing fight, losing by decision, and then losing another amazing fight to Johnny Hendricks. Condit now on a 2-fight losing streak coming into this fight. Condit, 29 years old. Kampmann is 31. Now, I think it was a different version of Martin Kampmann and a different version of Carlos Condit when they fought 4 years ago. I think that Martin Kampmann at 27 years old and Carlos Condit at 25 are very different now than Carlos Condit at 29 and Martin Kampmann at 31. And I think that there's been a lot more wear and tear on Martin Kampmann since that fight. Since he fought Carlos Condit, he's been knocked out 3 times. And I don't think he's been as good. I think that Martin Kampmann is a very good technical striker, and he's got a lot of skill, but his chin has got to be suspect right now. I don't think Condit's chin is suspect in any kind of way. The dude takes vicious strikes. That war with Johnny Hendricks was nasty. He took some big shots from Hendricks and did not go down, whereas Kampmann took 1 big shot from Hendricks, went down, and did not get up in November. Carlos Condit, minus 250, the favorite. I agree with the odds makers. I'm going to go with Carlos Condit to win the rematch. They always say the rematch is harder to win for the guy that won the first time. I believe in that. I believe in what the odds makers are going with here in Condit, minus 250. Kampmann, plus 195, the underdog. I believe Carlos Condit will put on a Muay Thai clinic on Martin Kampmann and knock him out. I think he will put Martin Kampmann down. I like Carlos Condit in a major way for the victory.
I'm going to probably end up regretting my pick, but early when I heard...
You can't open your pick with, I'm going to probably end up regretting this. You got to be
because I've been
confident.
Going back and forth. When I heard of the fight early, I'm going, like you just said, I think Carlos Condit is in a better place right now. But with that said, this afternoon I decided to watch their first fight completely. And in my opinion, Martin Kampmann dominated that fight in every aspect, standing up, grappling, physical strength, everywhere. Martin Kampmann had the better of Carlos Condit. So I got to continue. I got to think that he's going to have again the better against Carlos Condit. You mentioned the knockouts. Carl, other than Dan Hardy, who has Carlos Condit really knocked out? He has a knockout against Dong Young Kim with a
Very
knee.
impressive.
Yeah, but it's a knee. It's not a one-punch knockout to the jaw. Because you mentioned Martin Kampmann's suspect chin. And, I mean, are we talking suspect solar plex now that Martin Kampmann...
Are you not impressed by Carlos Condit's knockout win over Rory McDonald? Does that not impress you? That's pretty impressive to me.
It wasn't a knockout. It was a
TKO. He finished him. He beat him to the point where Rory McDonald could not.
And the ref could have given him 5 seconds more, and Rory would have won it by decision.
Well, you can say all that, Fred, but the fact is, Rory McDonald lost. That's a TKO, and you can say, well, the ref could have done this, the ref could. The fact is the fact. Carlos Condit won that fight. Carlos Condit beat Nick Diaz, Jake Ellenberger, Dan Hardy, Rory McDonald, Dong Yoon Kim. He's got some big wins on his record. So who has Martin Kampmann really beat?
So to go back to what I said, other than that knockout against Dan Hardy, he has never really knocked out anybody with a one-punch power.
Okay.
I gotta go.
One knee power doesn't mean anything to you? A flying knee doesn't mean a damn thing to you on Dong Yoon Kim? That's okay, Fred. That's okay.
Why are you so mad?
Who is Martin Kampmann really beat? Because you're making ridiculous statements. You're saying he hasn't really knocked anyone out.
He beat Jake Ellenberger, Thiago Alves, Rick Story, Paulo Thiago, Jacob Volkman.
That's not that impressive.
And he beat Carlos Condit.
Yeah, a split decision win. 2 or 3 judges thought Kampmann won. The third judge thought it went to Condit.
And
do you not agree,
And
though?
I watched the fight this afternoon, and I think Kampmann dominated it. It should have been 30-27. I have no clue how somebody gave Carlos Condit that fight.
Do you not agree, though, that they're completely different fighters this time? They're completely different fighters this time around, and Martin Kampmann has been through some wars and has had his chin checked 3 times, knocked out, since the fight with Condit.
The one thing that made me think this afternoon was Carlos Condit that was his first UFC fight. There might have been some jitters. There might have been a little...
And this is a fight that Condit has been wanting since that fight. He wants a rematch. He wants revenge. This is a fight that Condit has been asking for, and now he's finally getting it. You know he's going to be ready for this fight.
And I'm happy he's getting it because Carlos Condit has been a soldier for the UFC, always stepping up when asked to, never complaining when he lost his title shots, etc.
Yeah.
So I have nothing but respect for Condit. But like I say, this afternoon, when I watched the fight, I was really under the impression that Martin Kampmann dominated that fight. So I got to go with him again.
So Fred's going to go with Martin Kampmann. I picked Carlos Condit. So did Kevin. And, that's okay. We're agreeing so much. We really disagree on this one. And that's fine because there's only one way to settle that difference, and we'll find out on Wednesday night.